In this video, we will be learning how to translate from words into inequalities and then solving the inequalities as well. So recall from yesterday, we talked about how to translate from words to inequalities, but now we're actually going to take it one step further and continue to solve them. So the most important part is setting up a correct inequality. Otherwise, you won't get the correct answer in the end. So remember, we have 4 options of inequality symbols to choose from. We have either a less than symbol, a less than or equal to symbol, a greater than, or a greater than or equal to symbol. So you may want to have out yesterday's notes to look for some of those keywords that we filled in on the table to help you determine which inequality symbol to use for each of the following word problems. So the first example says 4 times a number is no more than 24. Determine the number. So first I want to figure out what type of inequality symbol to use. So I see the keyword is, and it says is no more than. So if we look at our table, is no more than would be the less than or equal to symbol. Okay, so now I just need to figure out how to translate the rest. So it says 4 times a number, so I can just write that as 4x. Is no more than, so less than or equal to 24. Once we have our inequality, now we're going to solve it. So to solve this, I just need to divide by 4, and I get x is less than or equal to 6. And then since these are word problems, we do want to write our final answer in a complete sentence. So it says to determine the number. So my final answer, I can write it as the number is no more than 6. Notice I always like to use the same words that they use in the word problem. So the number is no more than 6 would be our final answer. Okay, next example is very similar. It says twice a number decreased by 5 is at least 11. Determine the number. So again, let's figure out what inequality symbol to use. So we're going to look for is at least. So at least would be greater than or equal to. And then twice a number, I can write as 2x. Decreased by 5 would mean minus 5. Is greater than or equal to, because it says is at least 11. To solve this, I'm going to start by adding 5. So I get 2x is greater than or equal to 16, and then divide by 2. So x is greater than or equal to 8. So in a sentence, I would write the number is at least 8. Next example says 4 more than 3 times a number is less than 31. Determine the number. So again, I have is less than, so I'm going to use the less than symbol. And it says 4 more than 3 times a number. So I'm going to do 3 times the number as 3x, and then more than, I would put plus 4 is less than 31. To solve this, I'm going to subtract the 4. So I get 3x is less than 27. Then divide by 3 to get x is less than 9. So in a sentence, the number is less than 9. Final answer. Now, these last couple examples are kind of like the examples we talked about at the end of the notes yesterday. So these are going to be in the mx plus b form, the slope-intercept form, because we're going to have a rate, and then we're going to have a starting amount. So it says Rob wants to spend no more than $1,000 to update his bathroom. If he spent $250 on tile, how much can he spend on everything else? So again, it says he wants to spend no more than, so that means for my inequality symbol, it would be less than or equal to. So I'm going to write that down. And then I'm looking for mx plus b form. So I don't see a rate, so I don't think we have a rate here for the slope, but I do see that we have a starting amount, which is our b variable. So 250 would be our B variable. So I'm just going to write 1x plus 250 has to be less than or equal to the total amount, which is 1,000. Next, to solve this, I'm going to subtract 250. So I get x is less than or equal to 750. So in a sentence, it says, how much can he spend on everything else? My sentence is going to say, Rob can spend no more than $750. And that would be your final answer. Okay, let's try this last example. Same thing. We're going to put it into the MX plus B form. It says Maria has saved $225 for her vacation. She earns $15 per hour walking dogs. She wants to earn at least $750 to pay for her vacation. How many hours must she work? So it says she wants to earn at least. So at least would be greater than or equal to $750. Next, I want to look for the M, which is the rate. So the rate is how much she earns per hour. So 15 would be our rate. So it'd be 15x. And then B is her starting amount. So she already has $225. So final inequality is 15x plus 225 is greater than or equal to 750. So to solve this, I'm going to start by subtracting 225. And I get 15x is greater than or equal to 525, and then divide by 15 last. So I get x is greater than or equal to 35. So in a sentence, it's asking how many hours must she work? So my sentence would say, Maria must work at least 35 hours. And that would be your final answer. Okay, so now you're going to try some more examples in your homework. Feel free to reach out to your teacher to ask any additional questions you may have.